Geoverse Part 5 Prisoner of Love by GeodesicDragon Chapter 6 Dignus Solis. Celestia smiled as she saw the ragged-looking stallion leaving her sister's bedroom, doing his best to act as nonchalantly as he possibly could, save for the swagger in his step. As he passed her, he bowed. "Good morning, Your Highness," he said. "Good morning to you as well, Duskwind," she replied. Dusk stopped dead in his tracks. "How do you—" he began. "Do not worry," Celestia interrupted, "for my sister has told me a lot about you, and as long as you make her happy, you both have my blessing." Dusk's grin came back as he nodded feverishly, before continuing his swagger down the hall toward the barracks. Celestia laughed at his antics before entering the meeting room. In the middle of it stood a unicorn with a nervous look on his face. "Ah," Celestia said as she spotted him. "There you are, worthy cause. I'm glad you came to see me on such short notice." Worthy cleared his throat. "Anything for you, Your Highness," he said. "Now what can I do for you today?" Celestia took a seat at the head of the meeting table and indicated to Worthy to sit in the seat adjacent to hers. As he sat, she spoke. "As you know," she said, "you have invited me to dine with you on many occasions." Worthy nodded. "And as you also know, I have politely refused." Worthy smiled weakly. "I understand you are a very busy pony, Your Highness," he said. "That is not the reason why I refuse," she replied. "Also, that is the reason I keep giving." Worthy cocked his head to one side in confusion. Celestia sighed. "As one of the rulers of Equestria, I have to be mindful of who I socialize with," she said. "There are a lot of influential ponies who would like nothing better to get me on side, so that they can take advantage of our friendship to further their careers and wealth." Worthy's jaw hung open as he spluttered. I can assure you, Princess Celestia," he said, his voice trembling on the brink of rage, "that I am not that sort of pony." "So, if it's not that," Celestia replied, "then why do you invite me to dine with you?" Worthy sighed. "When I said dine with me," he said, "I meant just the two of us, alone, not with a group of my peers." A small smile appeared on Celestia's face. "This is taking too long," she thought. "I'm sure my sister didn't have to wait this long for her special sun-pony to crack. Time to start dropping some hints." She noticed that Worthy was looking at her, waiting for her to reply. She coughed sheepishly. "I see," she said, "but I'd appreciate an explanation as to why it has to be the two of us. I can't imagine what every pony would think if they were to hear of the two of us dining alone." I'm not sure I understand what you're getting at, Your Highness," Worthy replied. "Think about it," Celestia said. "The princess dining alone with the philanthropist. It would imply that we are together, romantically." There was a long moment of silence as Worthy processed what he had just heard, after which he let out a nervous chuckle and rubbed the back of his head with a hoof. "I guess there's no point in trying to hide it any more, is there?" he said, looking at the small smile on Celestia's face. "Hide what?" Celestia replied, trying her best to act naive. "I'm assuming you do have an ulterior motive for inviting me to dinner?" Worthy sighed. "I have always admired you, Princess Celestia," he said. "Since I was a foal, in fact. Your poise, your calm yet commanding nature, and your almost maternal approach to your subjects have always appealed to me." Celestia opened her mouth to reply, but Worthy raised a hoof. "Please," he said, "let me finish." Celestia closed her mouth and nodded. "I have heard stories of the many stallions who have tried to woo you through strength and wealth. I thought that if I could show you a stallion who had a heart as caring as yours, I could be the one who would win your heart." Celestia's eyes began to fill with tears. She wiped them away as Worthy continued talking. "I made a vow to always treat ponies with the same respect and dignity that you do. I threw myself into volunteering, and soon I got my cutie mark." He pointed at the symbol of a collecting tin with a heart above it. I knew then that my life lay in charity work, and soon I created the Canterlot Charitable Trust. With the help of others, I began to make life better for others. I raised money through events such as bake sales, sponsored races, carriage washes, and so forth. Celestia nodded. Soon I had made a name for myself in the charity world, and then I got the letter that would change my life. He pulled a piece of paper out of his pocket. "This letter right here," he said. "It bears your royal seal, and says that my charity was chosen to receive a share of the profits from the sale of tickets to the Grand Galloping Gala." He unfurled the letter and read it, laughing as he did. "I'm not sure it was actually you who wrote this," he said, "but I knew you still had a say on what charity received the money. And that is when I realized that I had done the right thing with my life." He blinked back tears of his own as he spoke, wiping them away with a hoof as Celestia wrapped a wing around him. "I did write that letter," she said. "I had heard so much about what you were doing for my little ponies. I wanted to help. Which is why I ordered the proceeds from the gala to go to you, since I knew you could use them far better than I could." Worthy let out a sniffle. "After that," he said, "our donations skyrocketed, and our ranks swelled with new volunteers. We were able to do so much more for so many more." He sighed deeply. "I received an invite to attend the heartwarming Eve Ball a few months later. I was pleased. I knew that I would be able to thank you personally for the money, but once I saw you, I couldn't even think of approaching you." "Why?" Celestia asked. "Because as soon as I saw you, I realized just how beautiful you were. You are far more caring than any pony else, and I felt I wasn't worthy enough to be in your presence." He laughed. "Not worthy? How ironic." Celestia let out a small chuckle. "Which is why I sent you that invite to dine with me," Worthy said. "I felt that if I could get you alone, I could prove myself to be better than all the other stallions who tried to win your heart." He hung his head and exhaled sharply. "But when you kept turning me down, I began to realize that I was wasting my time. I mean, you're a princess, and I'm just me." Celestia put a hoof on Worthy's chin and raised his head up until she was looking into his eyes. "At first," she said, "I took your constant dinner invitations to be an attempt at squeezing me for more funding, but I talked to a friend of mine, and he told me to give you a chance." Worthy smiled. "Which is why I summoned you here today," Celestia continued. "I wanted to hear your side of the story before I jumped to any more conclusions. And now that you've told me, I think I'm ready to come to one more." She brought her face closer to Worthy's. "You don't want money," she said, "because you want me." Worthy nodded feverishly. "That's true," he said. I love you, princess." Celestia smiled and leaned in further, planting a soft kiss on Worthy's lips. The sensation caused him to tense up and almost fall out of his seat. After a while, Celestia broke away. "I knew you loved me," she said, "but I wanted to make sure first." Worthy smiled sheepishly. "I do love you, princess," he said, "with all my heart." Celestia smiled. "You were wrong about one thing, though," she said. Worthy raised an eyebrow. "About what?" he asked. Celestia kissed him again, more passionately than the last time. He returned the kiss eagerly, both of them moaning softly. Breaking off, Celestia gazed into Worthy's eyes. "I can't think of any pony else who is more worthy to be in my presence," she said. "Than you."